Yo, welcome back everyone. So, very quick devlog today. More like a dev note. I just wanted to show you what I've been working on all day. And I think I'm finally making progress because I'm not happy with any of this. That's why it took me all day. So, I wanted an enemy that shot at you to make the game more interesting, right? Because I figured that I couldn't just do testing with the enemies that I have. They just chase you, they don't really do anything exciting. So I made this thing, like this crystal, and I tried many designs, and this is the only one that I was kind of happy with, right? So let me show you how this thing works. It's basically just a turret. So just like the enemy, it spots you, and then it marks the ground, and then it shoots where you were. Right? When the bullet gets there, it gets destroyed. But other than that, it works just like an enemy, right? So if you get away, it doesn't know where you are. If you get close enough, it goes, ooh, there he is. And then he marks the ground and starts shooting at you. This is not done. I'm not done with the animation for the explosion and stuff. This was just for testing, right? So you can see it like, it kind of like floats a little bit. Let me, wait. I just remembered my webcam's in the way, right? There you go. I remembered this time. And yeah, the UI is getting a bit too big. It's kind of starting to annoy me a little. And this doesn't do any damage. Like, I could just sit here. It does nothing, right? Because I haven't done that part. This is mainly for testing. But if we get away, he goes like, where'd he go? And then he stops. But yeah, there he goes. He's just sitting there, floating, just going up and down. It's all sparkly and stuff. And you're like, ooh, what is that? Do I need to pick that up? It's like, uh-oh, what's that? Oh, fireball. Alright. So you get close, you get away. And that's it. That's all I've done all day. Because this stuff is a pain in the butt, right? It's not the coding or coming up with ideas to do the game. It's like, I want this asset. It's like you have this idea in your head, and it's like, okay, how do I make this happen? Well, you need the asset first, right? So I had to come up with something that kind of worked with what I had in mind, and I wanted to make something that like shot in all four directions. I can still do that, right? But I tried some designs, and I had to make it too big. I had to make it in more parts because right now it's the crystal thing is just a 16 by 16 sprite. But if I wanted to make the more complex ones, I had to make 8 16 by 16s, or at least two on top of each other. Which would be, well, I would still need like 6 sprites, right? And then put them all together next to each other to make something kind of cool that, or to still be able to like scale it up and be in the same theme as everything else, right? Or I could just make a 32 by 32, but then it's gonna clash with. It doesn't matter, right? The point is, I tried a whole bunch of stuff. Right, I tried a bunch of different designs, and I wasn't happy with any of them because it was limiting, and then I had to make it bigger. And then suddenly I went, crystals? Let's try one out. So I made a crystal, and I was like, kinda. And then I made the sparkly bits around it, and then I made it work like that, and I was like, okay, this kind of works. And it's like, well, it's sort of easy to dodge, right? But when you mix it up with other stuff, right? I said this was going to be a mini devlog, and then I'm going to talk for like half an hour. Right, so if you mix it up with combat, So you're trying to dodge and trying to hit the enemies, right? Now it becomes a bit more of a challenge, right? And that's the whole point of it. It's to make combat more exciting. So it gives you stuff to dodge. It's also something. It's like a starter. Uh, because I'm gonna start making enemies that kind of work like this, right? They put a mark on the ground like that, and then they do a bunch of stuff where you were sitting, right? And they disrupt the melee combat. That's the whole point, right? Because melee combat's boring. If you think about it, it's just this, right? But then, if you have something to disrupt it, like I'm hitting these guys, and then something there's marked on the ground is like, okay, I need to move. And now these guys are chasing me, so now I need to engage these, and then I need to move again to dodge the stuff, right? So that's the whole point of disrupting your combat. And that's what's missing. That's the missing ingredient to make combat more fun in this game. So the next enemy I'm going to make is going to be an enemy that just floats around and does stuff like this. Like it puts stuff on the ground, and then you need to dodge to then hit the other enemies, right? So that's going to be for tomorrow me to work out. But today me, I think he did a good job. He did a crystal thing that shoots at you, right? Did a turret. And it's kind of fun. And also, as a note, if you watch all the way to the end and you're like, how do you do this magic? Show us. It's actually not that simple. Maybe there's a simpler way to go about it, and maybe I'm overcomplicating things. But check this out. So the timer thing it should be easy, right? You're in range, so it's kind of like the other one. Most of this stuff is just flare, right? It's doing the exclamation point on top of the character. But the point is, you start the timer. Now, when the timer is up and you actually need to shoot, then you reset the timer, and then check this out, right? So we create the damage telegraph, the thing on the ground. And then we change the Z order to make it nice, so it's always in the background. And then this is the convoluted bit. So we make two variables, and we give it to our main character, to Rogue. And these variables are called Rogue X and Rogue Y of Rogue. And you set it to the Rogue's dot center position of X and center position of Y, right? Respectively, right? X and Y. Then you do your thing, right? Then you wait a little bit, right? Because you just mark the floor. So you give 0.75 seconds for your player to get away. And then this is the sound bit. This doesn't matter. This is all effects. And then eventually we do the fire bullet, and we shoot the fire bullet at, this is the cool thing, right? We change the variable of fire bullet to the same as the other one, Rogue X. But here we apply the variable. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the webcam. The variable that we stored earlier, right? So we do rogue.variable and then open and close Rogue X. So we put the value here of the variable here, right? So we use this variable down there. So essentially, we're storing the position of Rogue where the telegraph was put, right? And then we send the bullet where the telegraph was, not at where the player is now, but where the telegraph was, right? That's the hard bit to get around your head, because you need to store the position where the player was when the telegraph was created. And then when you create the bullet, you need to tell the bullet to go to that position that you have stored, right? Hopefully that makes sense, right? And then this is made this way because I was doing testing on how to trigger the explosion. And this was like, it wasn't happening, so I tried it this way, and I just give it a variable. For as long as the variable is true, it's gonna move the fire bullet towards this variable, right? The position of Rogue where she was before, right? But then the bullet wasn't exploding. So I was like, the heck's going on? He got to the position and it would just sit there, not moving. And it's like, what's up, right? And it's some sort of bug with the calculations in GDevelop. Even though you're telling it to go to that point, even though all the points are coinciding on top of each other, it's like because of how we got there, or maybe like they kept like not matching each other, giving an exact position for the bullet to blow up didn't work. If I made this, if the x equals that variable and the y equals that variable, even though it's on there, it will not blow up. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It was weird. I'm still thinking about reporting it, but the way I went around it was to do this, right? It's a bit convoluted, but it's basically I made this little pocket of 4x4 pixels, and that way it gives it that little breathing room of 4 pixels. Like it's a little square that I've created with positions, right? Coordinates. So that way it does actually trigger. So when it does get to that position, then the whole thing triggers and it explodes, right? We play the sound, we do the explosion. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the webcam. I am sorry. But yeah. Anyways, that was a long conversation. You're like, dude, this is botting. I don't get it. But yeah. I thought it was kind of smart, I suppose, just to pat myself on the back for a moment. But I thought I was like, how do I do this? Like, oh yeah, just store the position and then give the position to the thing and then send it to that position. I was like, it all makes sense. Anyways, right, that was enough chatting. I've made a thing that shoots fire at you. It's kind of cool. It's a little thing. And we can make it more complicated by doing this. Oh my god, what have we done? I don't have repeat for each, so I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Is this gonna work? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't work because I don't have the repeat for each object. Wait, it wasn't working before. Oh, I think it's because I have trigger once. No, it's because I'm using trigger once on something. Right, that's why it wasn't working. But anyways, that's tomorrow me. Tomorrow me can fix this. Today me is gonna take a break. Today me is like done. He's clocking out. Right? So I'll catch you guys on the next devlog. Not sure when it's gonna be, but today I thought it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Let me show them. Right? So anyways, catch you guys on the next one. Till then, peace out.